My name is LaShawn J, and welcome back to my channel, where I give lighthearted commentary on life after lockup. Today, we're going to be doing a review on Life After Lockup, Season 4, Episode 41, Habitual Offenders. So, the first couple I want to talk about today is Blaine and Lindsay. So, we see Blaine and Lindsay, they're walking down the street and they're talking, and they come across a paint shop. And they decide to stop in there to get some paint because they just bought a house. They invested all the money they had into a home, and they're looking finding some colors to paint their home. So eventually, they end up going to see an attorney because Blaine had some unpaid tickets or some warrants that he needed to get taken care of. We see them get to the attorney's office, and in the attorney's office, the attorney is telling them a list of warrants and fines and arrests that Blaine has. And Lindsay is shocked. She's just like, you didn't tell me any of this. Like, you forgot to tell me any of this. So she's finding out Blaine is going to be doing some time. And before the attorney decides to do anything on the case, he says, I will need like a $15,000 retainer. Blaine sits down. He finishes up with the attorney. Lindsay's outside. She's crying. She's mad. She's like, he lied to me. He withheld things from me about it. Um, she every time she feels like she rushing into the situation, she feels like every time she's trying to find love, something happens, and she's just upset. Blaine comes out to talk to her. He's like, get in the car. And she's just like, no, leave me alone. I'm going to walk home. And she's storming off, walking home, and he just decides to leave her and he speeds off. And that's about all we saw about Blaine and Lindsay. So the next couple I want to talk about is Chance and Taylor. So we see Taylor and Chance is at the table. He's sorting out his bills, and he's calling his credit card company, and he's trying to see how much he owes the credit card company and what he could put on what bill. So Chance is like, he's calling the card, and it's like, your current balance is $400. Your past due balance is $700.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
And he busts out laughing while drinking, and he's just like confused to how he owes this much. We see Taylor comes in and she's helping him sort out, oh, this is what the light bill is, this is what the water bill is, this is what this is. And they're trying to balance out the money to spend on the bills and expenses. He says, you know what, after paying his credit card bill for 3 months straight, the first time, he had a whole bunch of credit card companies throwing credit cards at him, and he has several credit cards, and he's basically in debt.
Is that, bro?
You're so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
So we see Taylor. She's in there trying to fix up the crib because she says she's 33 weeks pregnant. They haven't set a date for the wedding yet, but hopefully it'll be soon. And she's trying to put the crib together. She asked Chance to help her. Chance is like, okay, let me go wash up and I'll come back and help you. He goes in the bathroom and he's sorting out the papers. So he's saying that he owes so many credit cards, he's literally hiding majority of the bill. So the amount of the bill that Taylor think they have double that. So he's hiding more bills in the bathroom where he goes to sort them out and figure out what he's gonna pay and what he's gonna put on what. So we see him just wash up in the sink real quick and go back out with Taylor. And she wants the crib fixed because she's like, okay, we have a lot of things to do. We start these projects, we don't ever finish them, and I don't want the crib to be one of these things that we don't finish because the baby's gonna be here anytime. So he gets mad. He's like, I'm not about to fix this crib right when you want me to fix it. Like, it's not on your time. But so she asks nicely, she's like, please, can you come on, help me with this crib because I think we need to get this crib done. So he goes on, starts helping her with the crib. His phone rings and she's like, he ignores the call and she's like, who was that? And he's like, just a friend. And she's like, but who was that? And he totally ignores her. He's like, it's just a friend. She was like, but if my phone rang and you asked me who that was, I would hand you the phone. And he was like, but I wouldn't be nagging you about it. I would ask you who it was. You would tell me it's your friend. And then I would have left it at that. I wouldn't nag you about it and constantly harass you about who's calling your phone. So they end up getting into a fight about it. She gets up and she says, "You know what? I'm going to go get something to eat." And she walks away. And what he says to her, "Bye, Felicia." Seriously? So she says that Chance has been very secretive lately, especially with his phone, and she doesn't know what's going on. So we're going to see what he's been spending the money on, because clearly it can't just be the household that caused the credit cards to come be so high. So the next couple I want to talk about is Sarah and Sean. So Sean is off of work. We see him playing his video game. He's playing a video game with his son. So I guess that's him and his son. The way they bond, that's their bonding time, because he does have a lot of kids and he's trying to make time for everybody. We see Sarah. She's getting the mood set. She's setting lighting candles. She has the little swing going. She done put the baby down for a nap, and she is ready. Her 6 weeks is up, and she's ready. She's in the mood and ready to go. So she calls Sean upstairs, and she's like, "Sean, come up here for a minute." And he's like, "What?" He seems like he just really got into playing his game. And she's like, "Come on, I want to show you something." He gets upstairs and he sees the swing, and he's like, "Who put that up there?" And she's like, "My mom." So he was like, "Your mom? That's some weird stuff for her to come and put up in my house for us." And she was like, "Well, it wouldn't be a surprise if you had to put it up there. It was supposed to be a surprise." So she's like, "The baby's down for a nap." And she's trying to get him, to get in the mood and come along. So he's like, "Yeah, you look nice, but I'm tired. I just got off of work. I'm down playing the game with my son." And she's like, "You know what? I don't want to take time away from you relaxing and you playing the game, but I did do all of this. I'm in lingerie and everything for you." And he's like, "I understand what you're saying, but right now I'm just not in that mood." So he gets up, he leaves, and he goes back down to finish his game up with his son.
Gay.
You know, Sarah's crying. She's hurt. She's like, they haven't been intimate for a while since, they had the baby. She feel like, okay, now she's trapped. He got her pregnant. She's in the house taking care of the baby all day. And he goes to work. He comes back and he plays a game and has no time for her. So she's upset. We see her the next morning. She's trying to make him lunch. She makes him lunch. She sends him off to work. Make sure he goes off to work. And then we see her mom come and she's getting ready to head out. The mom's like, "Why you getting dressed up? Why you looking so nice to go? Where you going?" She said, "I just have some errands to run. I need to stop at the supermarket and the stores and pick up some things." And the mom's just like, "But do you need to be all dolled up?" And she's like, "Yeah, because I don't get to go anywhere. So when I do go, I'm trying to look nice." So she left the mom and the baby at home and she's driving and she's headed off. And guess where she's headed off to? To see her ex. So she's headed off to see her daughter, her eldest daughter's father. And she's like, they never really broke up because she ended up getting incarcerated, and just due to the situation they just parted ways, but they never really officially broke up. She wants to talk to him about their daughter, and she does not feel bad by keeping it from Sean because of the way he's been treating her and how things have been going at home. So the next couple I want to talk about is Puppy and Amber. So we see Puppy and Amber, they're at a bar and they're talking and they're catching up. Puppy tells Amber that, her boyfriend Eric, he ended up losing his house because the house was in his mother's name or mother-in-law name, and it was going into foreclosure, and she went to court without him. She said that her and Eric are in debt, over $50,000 in debt. And it's because of the divorce, their lifestyle, bills, a whole bunch of things. But they're in debt.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
She was just asking Amber, how things going with you and TC, and she said, "We're going fine. You know, it's been a couple months now since she had to terminate her pregnancy." And Amber explains to her that, without her boyfriend TC and his kids, she don't know where she would be at mentally, because she was in a really dark place because of having to terminate the pregnancy because of medical reasons. She said it affected her really badly. She gained weight. She's been very depressed, and she hasn't really been, to par. It seems like she started drinking more, and all due to the situation. So they're drinking, they get wasted. We see Amber, she calls TC and she says, "Hey, can you come pick me up because I'm wasted. I cannot drive." So Puffy says, "Okay, yeah, me too, because I'm sleeping on the couch." And TC gets aggravated by that. So he comes to pick her up. Him and Amber have a conversation. Him and Puffy have a conversation, and she says, "Hey, I do want to apologize for the incident that happened at your house in front of your kids. It was inappropriate, and I'm sorry for that." She also mentions to him that she and her boyfriend are not drug dealers. She don't know why he thinks that, but they're not drug dealers. So they speak. Puppy went to her Uber because she had an Uber come in, and Amber left with TC. So later we see Amber and TC, they're at home. TC has a little bar, and they're talking, and she was like, they was talking about Puppy, and she was like, "Well, you know what? You know, she's a good person. You just really have to get to know her." And he says to her, "Well, you know, as far as her being friends with you and hanging out with you, that's fine. But her sleeping over at my house or just any interaction between me and her, no. Because my view on her has not changed. My stance, even though she apologized and we cleared the air, my stance on her has not changed." So he also says to Amber, "You know what? And another thing, you're the one who told me that she sells drugs." And Amber's like, "No, no, 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 no. I never said that."
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my god. Stop you fucking lying.
What I said to you was, I know what me and her went to jail for. I said to you about what her boyfriend went to jail for, but I never said to you that this is what they're doing. So they get in such a heated argument that she's like, "You know what? I'm done." She rips the mic off of her and she's like, "I'm done. Get out. Get out." She told the camera crew to get out, and now she's done. She's done filming. She's mad. She's pissed. She's about to leave. So TC told her, "Then go on, get out of here." And she's like, "First of all, if anybody's leaving here, it's you, because I pay most of these bills in this house." So we see them in a heated argument about what was said. Now, maybe Amber did say that about Puppy because, you know, they probably pillow talking. That's a man. She probably said it to him. I just like, yeah, you know what they doing on the side? But that was not right of TC saying that on camera, because what these two people do personally have nothing to do with everybody else. If that's what they want to do, which we know these people have a past before coming on the show. So we don't believe that the past just evaporated. But if that's what they're doing and you don't agree with it, that's fine. But don't out her like that. That's supposed to be your girl, your wife. Like, why would you just out her like that for the on camera on TV just because you don't like Puppy? And I feel like TC did that just to ruin Amber and Puppy's relationship, because that was very calculated. He said that to so that Puppy knows what Amber is saying about her, and he is trying to ruin their relationship because he doesn't like Puppy. So the next couple I want to talk about is Justine and Michael. So we see Justine and Michael and the kids, the mom, they're all going to self-defense class. And they're going to self-defense class because one of the kids are constantly having issues in school with bullying. And Michael wants to teach him how to defend himself. And Michael tells him, "You know what, you just beat up one bully and you'll be good for life." So he's trying to help him, you know, defend himself because Justine says she's constantly having issues with bullying with her son. So they go there. The kids are having a good time bonding with Michael. And, you know, Justine is sitting down. She's talking to her mom. And her mom wants to know, you know what, when are y'all going to start telling everybody else? And she's like, "You know what, I'm not going to tell my mom the way that Michael mom reacted because it's just going to cause more confusion and drama. And she doesn't need that right now." She explains to her mom, "You know what, I'm just kind of worried about the kids and Michael because I have a hard time trusting people. And especially around my kids, you know what, every time I see them and seeing how Michael is interacting with them, and I'm remembering from past relationships how other people would interact with my kids and then they would interact with the kid that I have with them. It would be totally different. And I don't want that to happen this go around." So her mom was trying to explain to her, like, "Okay, well, you should have known this before you decide to have a baby with somebody."
I am the one, the way your son don't need the.
So she breaks down, she cries. Her, the mother, you know, the mother consoles her and comforts her. And she's telling her, "You know what? It's going to be okay." She says, "I know you have a hard time trusting people, but it's going to be okay." So we see another scene with Justine and Michael, and they're walking. I don't really know where they're walking from, but they both have like on construction type jackets. I don't know, but they're walking and they decided to take a seat and talk. And she was just explaining to him, you know what, I have a hard time trusting people. I have this wall, and I'm trying to let you in, but I do have a hard time trusting people because of the things that I've went through. And it's understandable. She went through horrible, abusive, physical abuse, mental abuse. She said she had to worry about where she's going to get her next meal, having a roof over her head. So she has a wall. Even though she loves Michael, she has this wall that is hard to break down. And he reassures her, hey, you know what? I'm here. I'm not going nowhere. I love you. I love the kids. And this is basically a forever thing for him. So she explained to him, you know what? Please don't hurt her because she cannot take being hurt again. And I'm hoping that this works out because they seem to be moving in the right direction. Even though she did get pregnant kind of quickly, the two of them seem like it's genuine love there. And hopefully they're one of the very few couples that make it. So the next couple I want to talk about is Derek and Monique. So we see Derek, and he's in the store. He's grabbing some things. He's looking for a present for Monique. I'm sorry, I cheated on you present. I thought that's what the ring was for, but I guess not. I guess he decided not to give her the ring after he cheated on her. Maybe he's not ready no more. I don't understand. But before, we saw him at a jeweler store, and he was purchasing a ring because he was talking to the CO. Now he's in a clothing store looking for a present. So what happened to the ring? I thought the ring was the proposal. I cheated on you. I'm sorry. So he's with his sisters, and he's like looking for a present. And his sisters was like, what is the reason for the present? And he was like, I slept with somebody else. And they was, they're like, really? And this is what you're getting her? He was like, oh no, I'm going to get her some flowers also. And, the sisters are playing around, joking around, asking, oh, do you have any scales? And do you have this, putting two shirts together? Ridiculous. But we see Monique, she's driving with her sisters, and they're all going to Cleveland, where Derek is at. So she calls him, and she's like, you know what, I'm halfway there, just seeing what we're going to be doing tonight. And Derek was like, don't worry about it. It's a surprise. And he was like, hey, I'm here with my sisters. And Monique was like, hey. And the sisters was like, well, Monique said, hey, girl. And the sisters was like, did she said, hey, hoes? And Monique was like, okay, so I see they're back to the disrespectful stuff, and they're back to their old way. And he was like, no, they just playing. They're just playing. So the sisters expressed how they do not like Monique, and they don't like Derek and Monique together because they want Derek to be with somebody the same height as him or weight as him or whatever. We see Monique. She gets to the hotel. She gets ready. She gets dressed up. She shows off her dress to her sisters. They like it. They talk to her. And previously, Monique said she had something to tell Derek. She'd been keeping something from him. So Monique meets up with Derek. He gives her flowers, and they talk. And he's like, you know what? What I did was wrong, and I'm not ever going to do it again. Monique was like, is there anybody else? How many more other people were there? And he was like, it was just that one.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my god. Stop you fucking lying.
I'm sorry. I feel like we need to rebuild. We need to not dwell on the past. Let's move forward. Let's move on. Let's just rebuild.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
So Monique says she forgives him.
Stop it. Get some help.
She takes the flowers. She takes the flowers and the candy and stuff, and she's like, okay, so there's something I want to tell you. And he was like, what is it? And she's like, I'm late. And he's like, what? And she was like, I'm late on, I haven't had, my friend hasn't come. I might be pregnant. And he was like,
What the fuck?
wow, I wasn't expecting this. This is kind of fast. I just got out. And, his reaction was like, is she trying to trap me? What's going on here? And she was just like, you know what? I thought he'd be a little bit more happy about it.
I am the way your son don't need a gun.
It's nothing that's planned, but if it is, it is. So we're hearing that Monique might be pregnant. Derek isn't too happy about it. He's hoping that she's not. But if it is what it is. So hopefully, maybe it'll be a little Derek. And his sisters will have nothing to say no more. I feel like Monique took Derek's apology too quick. She took him back too quick. She should have made him squirm a little bit longer. She took him back right after he cheated. She moved back to Cleveland. Like, at least make him move. He the one who cheated. And all he had to do was get you a little present and some flowers, and that's it. What happened to the ring? I want to know what happened to the ring that Derek got just to propose to Monique for cheating on her. He had that ring just for if in case she find out he cheated. What happened to the ring? So all she got was flowers. Maybe he gave it to the other girl. I don't know. But please join me next week for another episode of Life After Lockup. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy my videos and would like to be notified every time I upload a new video.